Alright, so saying goodbye to Silver Angel at Echo Lake and walking onto the trail. See you in, who knows, sometime.
Yep.
In a little bit. Well, probably a month, something like that. So just getting back on trail at Echo Lake, just off of Highway 50. Having spent a day and a half in South Lake Tahoe. And starting the march. Alright, you may not be able to see it, but right over there, the first black bear sighting. So he's just walking around just off the start of this trail at Johnson Pass. So we're hiking along Echo Lake, which is a nice little lake just off of Highway 50. So just a little over a mile in, maybe a mile and a half, something like that. Pretty lake. It connects up with Desolation Wilderness, which requires a bear canister, which I sent home with my trail angel. Most people do that at South Lake Tahoe because by now we got trail legs enough to hike the 22 miles through Desolation Wilderness. So it's like 23 or 22 plus about 3.5 miles on the front and 1.5 miles on the end where we'll set up camp. We've got Lake Aloha. We're about a little less than 5 miles in. It's a lovely lake in Desolation Wilderness. Alright, we're coming up over Dick's Pass. Don't know who Dick is, but that's the view over, not quite the top, this is just the saddle. Pass goes up little bit farther up there. I'll be over it in probably 20 minutes, maybe 15, we'll see. Yeah, well, this looks like Dick's Pass. Elevation 9,400 feet. Dick's Pass. So yeah, it took about 20 minutes or so to get to the pass. So we're looking a little bit of snow coming down. So there's a portion of the PCT that is also shared by the Tahoe Rim Trail. So from like Echo Pass and beyond, the two run the same line, and every now and then you can get a glimpse of Lake Tahoe. You can see it down there, but it's certainly not in constant view. Alright, we're about mile 1131 and a half in the Granite King Wilderness. Again, you can see a glimpse of Lake Tahoe over there. Came up over that. You can see this gorgeous rock over there. Going to be heading. I see a trail over there, but I don't know if I'm going over that yet. I think I'm actually just going to be going over that away. So I'll stop in about 15 or 20 minutes for lunch. It's about a little after 12. Keep on walking. I think I got a little over 10 miles to the campsite I want. I may go a little farther than that. We'll see. All right, so that up there is Tinker's Knob, and the pass up to it is a little, it's about 8,900 feet. You may not be able to see much of it, but down there is Carson Pass. There's a little highway there, and I'm going to be heading down. I'm about a little less than 10 miles shy of old Carson Pass, Highway 40. Or I'm sorry, not Carson, Donner Pass. Donner Pass, not Carson. And mostly downhill, headed off in that direction. Another lovely day. Alright, you can probably read that. Do not enter here. Well, technically, I didn't enter there. I exited from there. So came up this ridge up here from over in that vicinity, and at the top, this is what we find. Ski lift. Hellman Chute. Apparently this is more difficult. But I'm going to be going down there. I think this path here will connect me up. And down there is where I'm headed to Donner Ski Ranch. Hopefully for some lunch. Alright, well, made it part of the way over Donner Pass. This is just crossed Highway 40, which is the old Donner Pass. Walking up to Donner Ski Ranch for some lunch. I'm thinking of burger, some pie, some Coke. Something like that. Looks like we already got a PCT down here. Well, I will line up right next. Right, so this is Highway 40. You can see this is the historic Donner Summit. It's only 7135. Little road walk after having lunch at Donner Ski Ranch. And getting back on the trail. Shooting for about 11 miles to a tent site. See if we can make it. It's about 1:30. We'll see. So you can see Donner Lake right there, but you may not be able to see very well. There's a red car right now going over one of the prettiest little bridges. It's like a rainbow bridge on Highway 40. This is an awesome little section of the historic pass, Donner Pass. Built that bridge, pretty little bridge. That's a little better picture of Rainbow Bridge and Donner Lake. It is a picturesque little bridge. Coming up on the Highway 80 undercross. So this is just past Donner Summit, and thousands of cars travel right over the PCT every day without even knowing it. And they built these tunnels because I guess they didn't like the idea of PCTers trying to make a beeline across 4 lanes. So thank you, Caltrans, for watching out for us. Alright, it may be a little difficult to see in the distance, but right there on the kind of far horizon are Sierra Mountains. It may be kind of the last of the real Sierra Mountains. You can see around here, you start getting more like hills than full-on mountains. So as far as the PCT is concerned, at Echo Lake was just a few days ago, is the end of the Sierra. So now we're starting into Northern California, where mileages or elevations are lower, and daily mileage tends to get longer. So we'll see how that plays out. New scenery. I don't know if I think I am missing the Sierra a little bit. It was really an adventure. Never done some of those, some things there, the snow traverses and things like that. The day after day, pass after pass after pass, was really kind of grueling, but really inspiring, awe-inspiring, and really motivational. I'm proud of myself that I got through it, and now Northern California really awaits. All right, we're about mile 1194 and dropping down towards Sierra City, coming to this cool bridge here. Got another PCT here coming in. So kind of a cool little creek, but there may be some changes coming up for me here. There have been some injury developments over the last couple of days, and once I get into Sierra City, I'm going to assess best way to deal. So more to follow on that front. You may not be able to see it very clearly, but there's a little buck deer that is kind of curious. He's been watching us for a couple of minutes from the trail, wondering what we're up to. Yeah, looks like a two-prong, so maybe a couple of years old, maybe just a year old. Yeah, he's curious. So he's still in velvet. Yeah. He is curious. Alright, this is the last bridge before Sierra City. This is going over the North Yuba River. About 2 miles shy of Sierra City at this point. So that's the Yuba from the north, and that's the Yuba heading south. So it's about a half of a mile walk to the road, Highway 49, and then about a mile and a half walk in to Sierra City. All right, so my last couple of video clips kind of gave a little cryptic message about maybe some updates are going to come. So, a little backstory is I was climbing up towards the gondolas at a at Sugar Bowl Ski Park before Donner Ski Ranch. I started feeling rocks in my left shoe, and then started feeling rocks in my right shoe. Not unusual, but when I got up to the top, to the gondolas, I took my shoes off, and there were no rocks in the shoes. So it was kind of weird. So I went ahead and I dropped down into Donner Ski Ranch at Old Highway 40 and kept on marching for another, I don't know, 10, 11 miles, something like that. I think it was a 22 and a half mile day, something like that. But pain started getting progressively worse. So when I took my socks off that night, I noticed that the bottom of my feet were both discolored. They were splotchy with red, pink, and kind of purple splotches, and it looked like there was some start of infection. So I thought, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. But I had another almost 25 mile, or I'm sorry, 45, about 50 miles before Sierra City, which was the next exit point. So I just kept on marching for a couple of days. Both of the days were over 22, 23 miles, something like that each. And then marched into Sierra City. Now, the only way that I was able to do this was kind of doped up on 800,000 milligrams of ibuprofen because it hurt so bad. It was just getting progressively worse, and I could barely walk. And I couldn't do it without the heavy dosage of ibuprofen. So I realized the trail wasn't going to fix this one, and even though before I've said that 97.5% of all of the problems on trail are solved by walking, injury, especially foot injury, is not walking's not the solution. So I decided to call my dedicated trail angel. She came to Sierra City, picked me up. We went to an urgent care clinic in Grass Valley. They diagnosed it as dermatitis and gave me some meds, both antibiotic and antifungal and anti-inflammatory. There's a steroid that they gave me to help. And I decided to come off trail to heal and get back on trail. I'm really disappointed that I wasn't able to do the continuous hike without having to recuperate, but the reality is to really fully recuperate and not jeopardize the rest of the hike, and I'm committed to the rest of the hike, I really needed to come off trail, deal with my injuries, and get on kind of as soon as possible, but not so soon that it would jeopardize the rest of the hike. I don't want to re-injure. So Trail Angel, some friends, the other hikers said, yeah, take the time, heal up, and hit it when you're fully 100%. Haven't decided exactly when that's going to be. I'm going kind of day to day, but I'm hoping to only be off for maybe 3 or 4 days. We'll see how long it takes. So that's the latest. That's the update, and I'm bummed, but I'm not defeated, and I'm going to keep up this hike.